last I heard from the guy was basically just like, dude, like, you can off. You know, just I get a phone call from him. I never want to see you again, and you know, you literally just mean nothing to me. This is about when I was like 11.
Okay.
So around that time, you know, I'm a child. I'm still in elementary school. It can be hard on a kid.
I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Road Dogs. My name is Samuel Lin, aka King Yen Lin, and I am your local freelance multifaceted specialist. And joining me today is...
My name is Alfie. I am an ASE certified Toyota technician. My Instagram is at alfie.oh.alfie. Yeah.
Nice. And today I invited Alfie as a guest to speak on a more sensitive subject. I thought of this because it's become like a more common problem in this day and age. I was talking to a friend just the other day, actually yesterday, for lunch, and he was talking like, you know how DARE program started off just for drugs, like it was about drugs. I've learned recently that DARE has moved its focus from just drugs to anxiety and, most importantly, depression. And so today I really wanted to touch on depression, and Alfie has volunteered to share his personal and vulnerable experiences dealing with it since childhood. How do we even broach the subject?
I don't know, I guess you could say like more of a mellow kid when I was growing up. Single parent raised, my mom, she's the best. She means the world to me. My dad was in jail at the time, so he wasn't really around, and when he would come around, there's a lot of people that don't have, me in their life, so you should be grateful, but it's like, dude, you're never around, You're barely even a father. I haven't seen him in a while, so I barely remember what he looks like. So, I mean, he's relevant, but he's also irrelevant. But I haven't heard anything, I haven't seen anything. It's been years, and the last I heard from the guy was basically just like, dude, like, you can just I get a phone call from him. I never want to see you again, and you literally just mean nothing to me. This is about when I was like 11.
Okay.
So around that time, I'm a child. I'm still in elementary school. It can be hard on a kid. So just growing up, I always felt like, well, shit, anyone can literally just walk out of my life like that.
You've told me before about like your experiences with your father growing up and with your stepmother growing up and your stepfamily growing up.
Typically, how I went with my dad was it was one of those court-ordered type of weekends. My stepmother was something else. It was tough, mainly just because I didn't get a say in a lot of things, and I ate, but I ate once everyone finished eating. So that was controlled, and I basically just got leftovers. That was pretty I've always had that problem to where I've always been manipulated by people in one way or another, and so I feel like it all started then. So I couldn't do certain things. I think the main thing was the eating part of it. I would sneak food and I'd get my ass kicked, whether it be from my dad or my stepmom. It was tough, but I guess it took a really, really long time just to kind of just grow away from that and just be like, okay, you know what, it happened. It's in the past. it doesn't define me. It's not who I am today. I'm in the process of growing past it. I'm in the process of just taking that side of me and just not letting it define me, basically. I still get those questions, you know, at holiday parties, like, oh, have you heard from your dad, or do you remember your sister from your dad's side, or do you remember your family from your dad's side? It's like, no, I don't remember anything about them. I don't even know anything about them.
Yeah.
You know, other than their names. I don't remember what they look like. I don't remember anything, really. It's just that part of me that I chose to get rid of. You know, after my dad left, it was really hard. I started hanging around with people that just weren't the type of people that I shouldn't be hanging out with. You know, just people that had a really negative influence on my life, very manipulative people. You know, and those are the people like I felt most comfortable with, because that was kind of like that's the scenario I was most comfortable in. You know, my mom was a very strict mom, but it wasn't in such a bad way, and in that time I saw it as a terrible way, like you know, but now, you know, I see, like, now that I'm grown up, I see that she really only did this because it's what's best for me. But at the same time, I was her first child. I was like the training book on how to be a parent, because
first
you know,
children usually
she had me when she was in high school, so you know, she didn't have my dad around, you know, to help her out. You know, she was kind of on her own with me, and you know, it wasn't until way later that I'm just like, damn, like I have a lot of respect for my mom, and you know, she's my world, she's my everything, and you know, and now I tell her that every time I call her, you know, and I make sure she knows that, and she's acknowledged for it. I went to go see therapist, child therapist. It wasn't something that my mom put me through. It was something that court put me through. And it was just, all the sessions that I had were just like pure fear. You know, what's gonna happen now? That was like the first type of therapy I've ever been to, and it was terrifying. I'm a young kid that, you know, was just told that no one wants me. You know, I have this creepy looking guy just asking me these questions. I kind of felt like I was pushed up against the wall, forced to answer these questions, and I was just terrified. I didn't really understand what was going on at the time. Yeah. You know, but I was really restless, and there was a lot of, I wasn't sleeping, a lot of things were going on. You know, I was slipping in school, and you know, so the clinical side of it started very young. Then came, you know, later on with the drugs and the people that I used to hang out with. You know, growing up, hanging around with a lot of poorly influential people. I hung out with people that, you know, that treated me like I was their puppet. And it became so normal that I was accustomed to it. And I didn't see it until someone that we know mutual kind of shed some light on it. And I'm actually kind of grateful that he did shed that light on it. But the funny thing is that,
well, we can come back to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like at the end of the day, we appreciate the things we've learned from people, and I think it's important to remember that no matter where things go with certain people.
You know, mid high school, I met this whole completely different group, and this group just I think this group did the most damage, and I'm not blaming them one bit. You know, I had complete control of my actions, but I guess I was so used to being manipulated, keyword, that I just felt like I had no control over it. So, you know, I was introduced to meth, and I was doing that for a while. And it was because of these drugs, things started getting worse, and it wasn't it's really just hard to explain the feeling. It's really hard to define how someone it's really hard to define depression.
Yeah.
And what someone feels and what someone goes through, because you can't just say like, hey, I'm sad,
Yeah.
or I feel this way. I mean, you can, but and someone can ask you what's wrong,
Yeah.
but
The depth of it you can't really explain, and the
Exactly.
reasoning behind it is something that you can't really explain.
You can never really pinpoint, okay, where did it start? When did it start happening? Why was it happening, and what can you do to fix it? There's so many questions that you can ask to pinpoint and to solve a problem. But the first step to solving a problem is realizing that there is one.
I think what was interesting is that's kind of what we connected on. Like, we had a lot of I guess our mutual problems with our shared addictions, right? And it's a tough point to be. I think that the trauma that you went through set a standard that allowed this to continue to happen. Every time I hear your story, it's pretty heart-wrenching, because no kid should be treated like that, and that was normal to you, which meant everything past that was normal too, like the way that you were treated, the way that until recently I feel you've been treated, right? I mean, there are a couple of very positive influences on your life, and I feel like you've made huge strides since I've known you, even, right? And I'm sure huge strides from even before then. But the sad thing, I think, is that this is a common story. It's not even something that, like, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
In a lot of households.
Also around the time that we met, we were kind of going through a similar situation. When with the hell that we were. I don't want to say hell, but I mean, it's the only term that I could come up with at the moment. Basically,
Our
just
realities.
our realities. We're very similar in a sense. Us being friends, we're also us, trying to figure out ourselves at the same time. I guess it's a decent way to put it.
Yeah. Anyways, we are going to get on a lighter note, and we're going to go to LA Auto Show. So be right back.
I've been dreaming. 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 I've
All right, we are back, and the sun's almost down because we spent way too much time at the LA Auto Show. It was fun, lots of fun. We did a lot of stuff. So we left off on like pretty much from your childhood until now, and I wanted to take some time to kind of discuss like the science behind it, the medical. So do I most of the time. Anyway, yeah. The medical issues or the medication that you've taken to help balance you out. You know, it's a more sensitive subject, but you know, I know how you're like, or how affected you are when you're not able to get a hold of your medicine, and vice versa.
So I had gotten really sick years ago, and I thought I just had your average flu. It had been about 2 weeks, and I could barely walk. You know, my mom came to come see me to see if I was doing okay. You know, my grandma was helping aid me, and you know, it's just, it got to the point to where they even thought that I was exaggerating, but I really wasn't. I couldn't walk. I was just in constant pain. So I just, you know, I decided to suck it up because I hate going to the doctor. I decided to suck it up and just say, okay, you know what, I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to go to urgent care. You know, I got all my vitals done, and you know, within like 10 minutes, paramedics show up, and I had to get taken to the hospital. You know, my mom was called, and you know, she thought they were joking, but they really weren't. And then she was all laughing it off later on because she's like, "Oh shit! Well, you weren't kidding. You were really that sick." I'm like,
"Wow,
yeah."
Thanks, mom.
Thanks, mom.
Wait, I don't know. Why did they rush you to the hospital? What was
they rushed me to the hospital because my heart rate was so fast that they were surprised that I haven't had a heart attack yet, or like I'm not seizing or something like that, you know. And they were just in awe. And they couldn't figure out why. Every single one of these doctors was asking, am I on drugs? I'm like, no, I've been clean for a while. Like, do all the tests you need to do. Like, I've been clean, I swear. And all the tests came back negative for drugs. I really have been clean. You know, I told them, like, I smoke cigarettes, you know, but I mean, that can be a reason for an accelerated heart rate, but it doesn't exactly explain, you know, why it's so fast. It doesn't exactly explain what's going on.
It happened to me for like 30 minutes over a cigar before.
Yeah, really cigars are gnarly.
Yeah.
A lot of the pills that they gave me, because they're just like, oh, you have this, those pills that they would give me, I would like puke everywhere, or, you know, not to be disgusting, but, you know, I'd have the runs, whatever it may be. It was bad. And then out of nowhere, this doctor came in like, hey, so we figured out what's wrong with you. I'm like, you know, my mom's even like, are you sure? They had diagnosed me with something called hypothyroidism. Okay. It's basically when, you know, your thyroid gland right here, it's like, mine was like swollen to like the size of a baseball. Something super abnormal. I guess it's more common in females. When it does happen to men, it's pretty bad. So they started asking more questions. You know, they were like, how's your mood lately? How's your eating habits? How are you sleeping? And I was honest with them. You know, I told them like, hey, when, you know, sometimes I can't sleep for days, and sometimes I can sleep for like 2 to 3 days straight. There's no in between. And then they were just like, okay, well, you know, how's your mood? You know, I told them I've been feeling very down lately. So I was recommended to a specialist, which they're called endocrinologists. Their sole practice is basically around this gland. It was really hard to find the right one, I guess. Finally, I found one. He was a really cool guy. I had gotten radioactive treatment. I actually wanted the surgery. The surgery involves like a pretty scar that goes across your neck. And I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted the surgery, but they were like, it's painful, this is that. I'm like, I don't care, do the surgery. No, my mom said because I wanted it so bad is the reason why I'm not going to get it. So, and I was still under her insurance. So she's like, yeah, you're not getting it. So I'm like, all right, fine. So it was radioactive treatment.
That's why you're so skinny.
Yeah. So no, but that also, this gland had a lot to do with my weight. I was a lot skinnier. I weigh about 150 now. I'm still a skinny guy.
Yeah.
I weigh about 150 now, but back then I only weighed like less than 100 pounds.
Wow.
I weighed anywhere from like the 90s to like the 110s. And
How tall are you?
And it would
How tall were
fluctuate.
you?
Back then I was about like 6 foot. Now I'm like 6'4". I like stretched out since then. And then they told me after that I had to take one pill every day for the rest of my life. It's called levothyroxine.
Okay.
So basically these are like my thyroid replacements. These are what's basically gonna level me out.
Okay. What are these symptoms exactly?
These
Aside
symptoms-
from the heightened heart rate.
The symptoms are the heart rate, the metabolism, the lack of sleep or the too much sleep, depression, and confusion. So I've been on and off with these pills mainly just because I've had one hell of a roller coaster with healthcare. Mainly just because with my mom working in the healthcare industry, I'm not under her insurance anymore, so I have my own. So I haven't seen a doctor in a while. I haven't taken my medicine in a while. So who knows if it can be a matter of days to where I start feeling how I start feeling again.
So if I didn't know you weren't, I didn't know you weren't able to get your medication. You should probably do that soon.
Yeah,
I remember last time.
Yeah, I should probably do
Last
that.
time you were off for a while.
Yeah. And you know, when I'm on it, I'm like, I'm happy-go-lucky.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I have my days, of course. Just like every normal human being, you have your days. You have your down days, you have your up days. But for the most part, I was happy-go-lucky. I was full of energy. I slept regularly. My diet was regular. Like I was feeling good. And then, but when I'm not on it, I slowly I stop eating. I don't sleep. And
Have you been sleeping?
Huh?
Have you been sleeping?
Here and there. I'm a grandpa. Bedtime's like 8:30.
Oh,
I end
so
up
you
waking
get-
up like at 4 a.m.
Oh,
and
never mind.
yeah, and I let the dog out, and then I go back. I try to go back to bed, and then I end up having to wake up an hour later for work.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, it has its ups and it has its downs.
Well, you should say it.
I'm not gonna say it.
All right, you ready?
I'm not
Okay.
gonna say it.
Well, I think that's all we have time for today.
I'm not
So,
gonna say
with
it.
that said,
I'm Alfie.
and I am Sam.
I'm not
Please
gonna
don't
say
serve us eggs and ham. Oh, come on.
it. Eggs.
Please don't.
Serve
Please
us
don't serve us eggs
eggs
and ham. Yay!
I
Bye.
Set my heart on fire.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in today and hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you guys liked this and want to see more of it, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, if you guys have any ideas of topics that you'd like to discuss, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Love you guys and see you next time.